Hello, everybody. This is Appa Bryant with Appa Baseball Classics, and we're back for another NFL Picks Week. This is Week 9. I'm calling it Backups Encore Week in the NFL. Last week, Justin, you won your 6th week. You tied with Dan. Barely made it into the winning column. It was a tough week. Halloween, I think everybody did picks had a tough week. I would have won if I didn't go out on a very thin twig of a limb with Detroit and Jacksonville. I'm not going to do that again. But Justin, this week, buckle up. There's a lot of recent NFL news in the past few hours.
Yeah, I've noticed.
Yeah, it's going to be a wild pick Sunday.
Yeah.
All right, our first pick is a Thursday night game. The Indianapolis Colts go to the New York Jets. Oh, no, it's the other way around. New York goes to Indianapolis.
All right. So White and Carter, who are these guys and where did they come from?
404 yards is the second highest total for a debut game in modern NFL history.
Now Cincinnati, they should have won that game. Really, oh shoot, I'm on the wrong game. Or wait, oh no, the Jets did play Cincy last week. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, they beat them.
Yeah, with the help of the referees. That was an absolutely terrible, unnecessary roughness call against the Cincinnati defender. The Jets player lowered his helmet a few feet.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, that rule needs a little more work.
That was an awful call, and everybody that saw it probably agrees that was an awful call, except for the referee that called it, probably.
Yeah, I don't know how a billion-dollar industry can go year after year, week after week, paying part-time arbiters, paying part-time referees. It's not like the money's not there. These people should be working full-time and doing their jobs better.
Yeah, and in the final minutes of the game, they've got to start reviewing these terrible penalty calls because they change the game every single week. There's 2 or 3 games that they just go one way because of the referees in the final minutes of the game.
I agree.
Anyways, now Carson Wentz, he played a close game with Tennessee, but he made some costly mistakes.
Yeah.
Indianapolis, I think they're going to win this game. I don't think White and Carter are going to be able to fly past the speedy Indianapolis defense. Let's see. I really like the Indianapolis passing game despite Wentz's costly mistakes. I don't think the Jets are going to do too well defensively. So that's my pick for the first game.
All right. I'm picking Indianapolis as well. The Jets still lead the league in interceptions, and Indianapolis leads the league in takeaways. It's not a good combination when you've got the worst with the best. I don't have a lot of confidence in Carson Wentz. He's playing better, but I don't think he has a real good NFL arm. And he's still prone to possibly make a mistake. But I am on the Indianapolis bandwagon as well. In this game, the Titans played man coverage, and they kind of stifled Wentz last week. So I will look for the Jets to play man coverage if they can. But it won't be enough. I think Indianapolis takes this game. All right, it's time to welcome in my son-in-law, Dan Mattingly. Dan, you were a winner last week along with Justin. Both of you were 8 and 7 on a nasty, spooky Halloween. And I went out on a limb those two games with Detroit and Jacksonville, or otherwise I would have won. But
Yeah.
you tied with Justin.
Hey, there we go. Progress.
This Sunday is called Backup Encore Week. What a week for backup quarterbacks. Cooper Rush, Trevian Simeon, former Denver guy, and then Mike White playing for the first time, and Cooper Rush.
Yeah, they all did well. They all, well, other than Rush, almost looked like upgrades over the incumbent starters in many cases. So.
Well, actually, they asked Sela today about that, and he said he wants to win. So he wouldn't want to commit. He didn't commit to not going with Mike White.
Wow. That's controversial.
And there might be two more backups this weekend. Kyler Murray is kind of doubtful for this week. So we're looking at Colt McCoy. And you probably heard the news today, Jordan Love for the Packers.
Yes, that'll be that'll be interesting. They might sell Rodgers out of town faster than we thought. We'll see. But he's been very good this year.
He's been good, but there's a lot of unhappiness, I'm sure, about this situation. Let's get started. Thursday night, New York Jets 2-5 at Indianapolis 3-5.
The Jets were incredible last week. They really took it to the Bengals, and I mean the Bengals looked as good as anybody against that. They were away against the Ravens and took one from them, which is a tough thing to do at any point in the season. The Colts, I don't know how they lose some of these games. It's incredible to watch. I picked against them, but I thought I had to be wrong. I had to be. And then Carson Wentz just goes out and does the most bizarre, unbelievable thing you've ever seen in your life. And you're just like, I mean, it's like a blooper reel every week with him. He has 4 plays that cost them the game. And they just you can't do that in the NFL and be a starting quarterback. That being said, I really don't see the Jets keeping this lightning in the bottle this week. I think that the Colts defense is very good, and they should be able to beat the almighty Mike White and the Jets.
I think Cincinnati was looking ahead. The Jets might have caught something there. Okay, we got a little bit out of order with the ESPN schedule order. We're going to do the New England at Carolina game next.
I don't really pay attention too much to these two teams anymore. New England, just because I've spent a long time disliking them. I can slowly start liking them now, but I'm not there yet.
I'm kind of there. I actually like New England. Yeah.
I still don't like Belichick. I just think he's boring.
Winning is not boring, though.
Yeah, true. New England fans probably like him still. Well, that being said, New England has put it together pretty well now by this point in the season. Matthew Judon or I think his first name is Matthew. He's becoming quite the pass rusher, and I expect him to get 2 sacks this weekend. Sam Darnold, I don't know who Carolina has at backup, but is it possibly time to bench that guy?
Not doing it yet. He's still practicing with the number ones.
Well, he needed to do better against that Atlanta pass defense that's been struggling all year, and he could not put it together against them. So, anyways, this game, I'm going to take the Patriots to win.
Okay. it just came out on the news that McCaffrey is back practicing with the Carolina Panthers. It's not certain that he's going to be playing on this Sunday. Probably 50-50, I mean, probably 60-40. He's not going to be playing quite yet. But I agree with you. Some of that shine is off of Sam Darnold that we saw in the early season. And I think New England is just kind of on a trajectory up. I think they're going to win this game.
All right. So with New England and Carolina, I mean, obviously one team's going up and the other really is going down. There's talk McCaffrey will play this week, but I mean, until they say that he's going to play, I don't think Carolina has much of a shot here. The Pats have looked really good, dominant wins, and against really good teams. Maybe not dominant. That might be stretching it.
Yeah, that would be stretching.
Yeah, well coached. Yeah.
Well coached. So I don't think they have the offensive line to really totally dominate games, but the other parts are good. Yeah. I like their running backs. I like their receivers. And that defense is going to hang with anybody. The next game is the Cleveland Browns, and that gets us to the first significant news that came out today. Cleveland Browns and the Cincinnati Bengals.
Okay. The Browns receivers, they have a case of the drops lately.
Yeah, Jarvis Landry dropped at least 3 passes in critical times too.
Yeah. Nick Chubb is back. Baker, he's back too. I kind of wonder though if those two are fully healthy, judging off the performance last week. Cincinnati, I guess they might have been looking forward to this Cleveland game and just thought the Jets game was going to be a walk in the park. And then they were just kind of weren't ready at all for that white guy, and he just kind of took them by surprise. I don't think Cleveland's going to surprise them like that. I think they've probably been preparing for Cleveland for 2 weeks now. I think basically both teams here, they've got pretty decent defenses. So I think offensively, Cincinnati, they kind of have the edge. I believe at this time of the season. So I'm going to take Cincinnati to win this game.
In this Battle of Ohio, I agree. I think Cincinnati has been kind of looking forward to this game and mistook the Jets. The news of the day is that Coach Stefanski and the Cleveland Browns have a problem with that video that was put up by OBJ's dad. OBJ put up a Instagram of Baker Mayfield it was an 11-minute video showing Baker Mayfield not throwing to his son, Odell Beckham Jr., when he was wide open. So the video does 2 things. It shows that Odell Beckham Jr. still has something in the tank and he can still get open. But apparently there is a problem between Odell Beckham Jr. and Baker Mayfield and the Cleveland Browns in general. Now, I don't blame the Browns. Odell Beckham agreed to come to the Browns. In the first place, he should live by his agreement, but he's not at practice today. And he was told to go home, and Cleveland Browns are talking to his agent currently. He's got an $8 million contract, and I'm sure they're talking numbers. And it wouldn't be surprising me if by the end of the day, Odell Beckham Jr. is waived or cut based on that video. And they're listing him as did not play not because of injury, because of personal reasons. So the Saints are looking for somebody. Chiefs might be in the market for him. I don't know. But Odell Beckham might not be a Cleveland Brown. And with the looks of the way the wide receivers played last week, Cleveland needs help at wide receiver. Jarvis Landry was wide open and just dropped balls right and left. It wasn't Baker Mayfield's fault. It's not been a smooth operation over in Cleveland. I thought going into the season, I thought Cleveland was one of the three best AFC teams. But every week, injuries and other problems have popped up with the Browns. I'm picking Cincinnati. I think Cincinnati's going to bounce back and win this game.
I think Cincinnati wants this game. They usually lose the Battle of Ohio since Baker Mayfield was drafted, but now that they've got Joe Burrow humming and a very good team around him, other than maybe that offensive line, but if he can overcome that, I see them putting it to the Browns this week. They have not looked good, particularly the offense. The offense is bad. And I really don't know how they played Baker last week. He looked like a guy with a torn labrum. He looked like a guy that didn't want to move. Like every time he took a step, his shoulder probably like jolted in pain. Mm-hmm. They're better off with Keenum probably right now. They need to let him rest and heal.
It's not Baker's fault that Jarvis Landry dropped all those balls, but
no.
Yeah. So I got you down for Cincinnati. The next game is the Denver Broncos at the Dallas Cowboys. You're probably familiar with the fact that Von Miller has been traded to the Los Angeles Rams, I think for a second and third round draft pick. And he goes to the Rams, showing that the Rams they want to play the Super Bowl in their home stadium this year if they possibly can.
Yeah. Man, that is scary. Now Miller's on the same line as Donald.
Yeah. Yep. And Jalen Ramsey in that backfield, it's going to be quite a defense. The Dallas Cowboys said that Dak Prescott will practice full practice. Today is Wednesday that we're filming this, and then they'll evaluate Thursday. But they look pretty positive that he will be playing this week.
Okay. Well, Dallas, they almost just lost to the Vikings last week. It was very close. As a matter of fact, if Bashad Breeland was paying attention to the ball, it was thrown right into his numbers, and he just batted it right back to the Dallas receiver. And then Dallas went on and finished that drive with a touchdown to win the game. So they're playing Denver now. I think the Dallas defense will probably give Denver's offense a lot of problems. Dallas, their pass rush this year hasn't really been great, but it's starting to pick up some steam. Their backup quarterback, if Prescott doesn't play, he did do okay. So I think he can compete with Bridgewater if it is rush. Denver, they're vulnerable to the running game, and Minnesota was vulnerable, but Dallas didn't run much against them. 2 weeks in a row of that 1-2 punch being quiet, I don't think so. I think Ezekiel Elliott and Pollard are probably going to have some better numbers this week. Also, the Denver offensive line, they've been struggling lately. So I think I'm confident to go ahead and pick the Cowboys to win this.
Yeah, so far we're agreeing on all the picks. I agree that Dallas should win this game. Cooper Rush is one of those backup quarterbacks. He really did have a good game if we consider the competition was the Vikings. So, yeah. And either Cooper Rush plays or if Dak Prescott plays, I'm still on Dallas. I think Dak will be playing. And right now he's playing about as well as anybody as a quarterback. I don't think Denver has a chance. I think Dallas will be able offensively be able to do whatever they want to do against the Broncos.
I think that they could beat the Broncos if Dak sits again. I think this Broncos team is bad. I think they're giving up on the season. They traded Von Miller. They're paying $9 million of the $9.7 million left on his salary. They did get 2 good picks out of the deal, a second and a third round in 2022. But that's a move that a team makes, in my opinion, when they're done with their season. You start selling off pieces. And I think that's the mentality.
It may be that Dak will be able to play. He practiced today. They're going to make a decision tomorrow morning. We're filming this on Wednesday, but by the time this is up, they'll probably have decided. If he's able to go, would you sit him one more week? I think I would think about that.
Yeah, I would let him sit. You're 6-1. The rest of the division is. Does anybody have 3 wins other than them in that division? I think the rest of the division is like 2-5.
They're playing for the Super Bowl bye. I mean, for the top record bye is what they're playing for.
I would guess, but I would have confidence in that roster to keep my all-world quarterback healthy and sit him another week.
Mm-hmm.
Next game is a game that the NFL probably should think about not playing. Houston Texans and the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah. This is the Titanic clash of the 1-7 teams. Does either team want to win this game? Who wants to win?
Yeah, of these two NFL teams, the morale can't be high. You got the problem with Miami and all this controversy, which should have been private, about them, whether they want to sign that quarterback that Houston's waving around and is in a lot of trouble. And probably his troubles won't be settled for a year or years. They should have kept that totally private. I mean, what does Tua think they think of him at this point? And of course, Houston's been shipping out star after star. So the morale on these two teams have got to be rock bottom.
Yeah. Mills had a nice 300-yard game, and he kind of padded some numbers in garbage time.
Of course, this year, I think. Because he's not been putting up much numbers.
Yeah, probably was his first. But okay, both pass defenses are not very strong on both of these teams. So we might actually see these two quarterbacks get some positive things going. I kind of look at this as who terribly badly wants the draft pick more. So
it's probably Houston.
I think Houston wants the draft pick more. So I'm picking Miami to kind of stumble their way into their second win of the season.
And that's exactly what I was thinking about. Yeah, I'm picking Miami. Let's not take too much time on this game.
They're playing this game just for the commercial revenue, I think. Oh, gee. Who do you take here? Let me look one more time. So I guess I like the Dolphins a little bit better. They're both stink. But I think the Dolphins have a better roster. I think that Tua is capable of more. I mean, like everybody says, he shows flashes, but he could put up a pretty good game. The Texans' defense is pretty bad.
Yeah, we talked about with Justin. I think the team morale on both teams has got to be rock bottom, with Houston getting rid of their stars and with Miami, kind of igniting a quarterback controversy that they didn't need to do with negotiations with Houston. They should have kept that private. Now maybe Houston leaked that, but they should have known that if a team could do that to you,
Yeah.
don't negotiate.
Yeah, it was a terrible move. And you undermine the confidence of a quarterback who already had, a little bit to be not confident about.
Yeah.
I mean, he's coming into the NFL hurt. He kind of loses most of a season, and then he's a little bit shaky in these first few games, and he's banged up again. Don't put more weight on the guy. That's terrible. That's a bad front office.
Here we go with the next game. It's the Atlanta Falcons at the New Orleans Saints, and there was major news today of the New Orleans Saints. Yesterday we learned that Jameis Winston's out for the season. Today we learned that Michael Thomas won't be back. His ankle is going to require surgery again, and so he's out for the year. Saints front office is probably not too happy about that, but it is what it is. Taysom Hill is nearly back from his concussion. I don't know if he's available this coming week. I think he might be. And I'm guessing Taysom Hill will be playing quarterback rather than the one that played last week. But the one that played last week actually played pretty good. But he's got a long history with the Denver Broncos and not being very good in Denver. So they've kept Taysom Hill on the roster for quite a while, just for this eventuality. So I think if he's ready to go, they'll put Taysom Hill in.
That makes sense. That was pretty amazing. I did not see that coming last week with New Orleans taking down Tom Brady and the Bucks
with Trevor Siemian.
Yeah.
and no wide receivers. Their wide receivers are kind of injured.
Yeah. Their defense came up with 2 interceptions against Tom Brady. That's something Brady doesn't really do very often. So that was pretty impressive. Now, they also got pressure on Brady as well pretty consistently throughout that game. And Atlanta's offensive line is definitely not the Bucs' offensive line. And so I think they're going to be struggling against the New Orleans pass rush and pass defense. I kind of expect New Orleans to win this game.
The Atlanta Falcons, have been bringing along their tight end Pitts very nicely and got him up to 166 or something yards 2 weeks ago. But last week he was hardly a factor. I think he was only targeted a couple of times. So I do think that Atlanta will make a conscious effort to get Pitts the ball this week. But it's going to be tough because, like you say, Atlanta's offensive line is not a great protection line. And New Orleans should be able to put pressure on Matty Ice. So I'm also going with New Orleans.
New Orleans they lost Jameis. They looked better after they lost him. I hate to see a guy get hurt for a season on an illegal tackle. That was a terrible tackle. That was horse collar. It was a garbage play, and that guy should be fined. They should, that was not a good one to see. But that being said, Siemian gave them a better passing game. He was hitting tight ends. He was moving the ball. I think Taysom Hill might be playing. Is that what you've heard?
I've not heard that, but I'm kind of deducing that because they've kept Taysom Hill on the roster and pay him a lot of money just for this situation. He was concussed, but I think he's about ready to come back. So
I think this might be the week for him. Yeah. But I liked what I saw from Siemian too. But he threw up some good smoke for a couple games with the Broncos until he kind of showed why he's a backup in the NFL. Mm-hmm. The Falcons, Matt Ryan and Carson Wentz, they might as well belong to the same fraternity. He does the same thing as Wentz. Right when they look like they're coasting, like they should just walk in for a victory, he does something bizarre and they blow the game. I like that team. I like that they show really, really good stretches, but they can't put together a whole game, especially against a defense like the Saints.
So I got you down for New Orleans. We still have not disagreed on any picks. Next is Las Vegas Raiders and the New York Giants. Huge news with Las Vegas Raiders. I don't know if you've heard yet, but Henry Ruggs. Yeah, Henry Ruggs is off the table. 156 miles an hour driving while drunk last night at 3:30 a.m. and caused an accident that killed a 23-year-old girl in the other car.
156. Wow, I didn't hear that part.
Yeah, 156 miles an hour seconds before the crash. 127 when the airbag went off. There's no possibility in New Mexico for probation for that charge if he's found guilty, and it's a minimum 2 years to 20 years. So he's out of the picture probably for a very long time. I'm guessing it's the end of his career.
That's a tough break for that guy. He had a great, bright future ahead of him, and to just throw it away at a stupid decision like that, that's a shame.
He was Vegas's only. Renfro can get downfield, but not like Henry Ruggs. Ruggs has got tremendous speed, averaging 19.5 yards per catch, and he is Vegas's best downfield option. So now Vegas is going to have to kind of switch gears and not throw the ball downfield as much as they did. That changed the offense.
Yeah, those prison football leagues, they better watch out now.
Yeah, it's a sad situation. We shouldn't be joking about that.
Yeah. Okay. With even the loss of Henry Ruggs, I think the Raiders offense has the edge over the Giants offense, and I also think defensively they have the edge over the Giants defense. I just think their pass rush is a bit better, and so I think Las Vegas is going to win.
Yeah, I was somewhat impressed with New York when they played the Chiefs last week. There are some things they do pretty well. Booker was better than I thought. Other news, there's still more news today. Saquon Barkley tested positive with COVID. They've had a number of positives that were false positives. So all the positives that came positive are being tested again tomorrow. So we'll see if he really has COVID. But that's bad news for the Giants. The coaching I'm not a big fan of Joe Judge, the coach of the Giants. Of course, Vegas is under a temporary coach, but I think he did a tremendous job after taking over the team on short notice. And he'll probably outcoach Joe Judge, be my guess. So, yeah, I'm down with Las Vegas beating the New York Giants.
I got Vegas.
Yeah,
for obvious reasons.
You know about Henry Ruggs.
I saw that was terrible.
Yeah,
he's out with the DUI and a fatal. Yeah, that's.
Yeah, he's gone for good. They cut him.
They cut him.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Yeah. Okay. I didn't hear that. I had just seen the news that he was arrested. I didn't know about the rest of it. So that's horrible. Young guys make bad decisions, but man, when it's fatal for someone, that's a terrible thing. I still would take the Raiders. I know that Ruggs is very talented. I hope that he's able to get forgiveness and move on with his life, but you make a decision like that, you deserve a punishment. That being said, the Raiders have a very good roster. The Giants do not have a very good roster. They struggle to move the ball. I don't really think they have the pieces on defense. Is Saquon going to be back for this one?
Nope, he tested positive for COVID today. A lot of news in the
Today?
NFL today.
This is what I get for taking so long getting home from work today. Okay.
He's got to
Well,
New York had some. I think they had 10 or 11 positives, but there was some false positives, so they're going to retest everybody again tomorrow. And unlike some people, he was vaccinated.
oh, wow.
But I don't think he's going to be there. No.
He shouldn't. I wouldn't bet that he would. And I don't think it'll make that big of a difference, to be honest. The Giants just aren't very good, which makes the Chiefs win a little bitter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They beat the JV.
Yeah.
It almost
Good job,
lost.
guys. But almost.
Mhm. Next game is the Buffalo Bills at the Jaguars.
Well, you already said earlier you're not going to go out on any more limbs, but I
No.
was going to ask, you want to pick the Jags here?
No.
Yeah, this is an easy Buffalo win.
Yeah, Buffalo all the way.
I'll take Buffalo. I think they're the class of the AFC. It's a little surprising to me how much better the NFC is this year than the AFC. I really thought that the AFC had a lot of promise this season, and it's really fallen apart. Now Tennessee has to figure out what to do without Derrick Henry when they were looking like they were going to be a top team. I'm interested to see how they adjust. I know with AJ Brown and the other receivers there, they're just going to have to really go pass heavy and see what happens. I think Tannehill's going to throw a lot of picks.
So Buffalo.
Yes.
Next game is Minnesota at Baltimore. This one's going to take some thought.
For sure. Baltimore's coming off a bye. Minnesota very nearly just beat Dallas.
Yeah, it was a tough game and a kind of a gut punch loss Minnesota's coming off of.
Yeah. Cousins didn't really have a great game, but that's kind of an abnormality to his season. He's been putting up great games. I already talked about Bashaud Breeland earlier. Minnesota showed
He's a
little
pretty good
bit.
cornerback, though. I kind of wish we had him back, judging on what we got now.
Yeah, he has been doing real good for Minnesota. Like, I'm not trying to discount his play much when I was talking about him earlier.
Yeah.
Sometimes things like that happen. It's just kind of shows how close games can be, where the ball can just be literally right in someone's numbers, but they don't see it coming.
So, I think Minnesota is the weirdest team maybe in the NFL. But I also think that they're flatlining. The life that they showed early in the season just didn't seem to be there. I think that they need to make some big changes in the offseason. I think this might be Cousins' last year with the team. I would be surprised if he was back, regardless of contract. I just don't see a future for them with him at the quarterback position. And I would guess that Zimmer, the coach, I mean, he doesn't seem to be reaching the players and the defense like he used to. I'd really love to see him build around some of the core that they have, particularly with that offense with Thielen and Jefferson and Cook. They should be more explosive than they are, and nobody's scared of them. Nobody is. And I expect them to lose this week.
I think there's a problem between Zimmer and his quarterback Cousins. We saw that a couple of weeks ago when there was like a little shove on the sideline.
Yeah.
Like Cousins, I think he's a talent, but up in the head, I don't know what's going on up there.
Right.
LA,
There's just something's missed.
yeah. LA. Next game is the Los Angeles Chargers at the Philadelphia Eagles.
This is a sneaky good game.
Yeah.
Philadelphia, last week against the Lions, they discovered they could run the ball this year.
It was the Lions.
True.
I talked about how, and I should have listened to my own self. A few weeks ago when Dan Campbell was crying after a tough Lions loss, I talked about how emotional he got, and the team is probably getting really emotional, and down the road, they're going to get tired quicker and just kind of fold up. And I should have listened to myself because last week was the fold-up week.
Well, the Chargers' run defense is not great. They're probably pretty close to the Lions' quality run defense. So Philadelphia might want to build off that Boston Scott success they experienced last week. I think that combined with Jalen Hurts' growth this year in his passing game, it's going to make for a tough game for these Chargers. Lately, did the Chargers have a bye last week or the week before? I think it was last week.
I think it was last week, yeah.
Yeah. And the 2 weeks before the bye, their amazing receiver, Williams, he's been pretty quiet in the last 2 games before that bye. And I think Justin Herbert probably made it an emphasis to prepare to get him back involved in the offense this week. I'm kind of thinking that it was just the Lions because if you look at the recent Philly games, they suffered 2 losses before playing the Lions against good teams. I think this will be a close game, mainly because of the Chargers' bad run defense and their offensive line has been struggling recently. However, I think coming off the bye and getting Mike Williams back involved, I think the Chargers will probably win this game.
I'm going to be interested to see how this game is played. The Philadelphia Eagles play a lot of zone defense in the secondary. And I think they're not going to blitz and they're not going to rush a lot of people. It's probably just going to be 3 or 4, and then they're going to drop 7 and 8 try to get in the passing lanes. So I'm thinking that Hebert will have some time and he will pick them apart, I think. That's what I'm betting on. And the Chargers secondary is still good. So if Hurts can't get a lot of passing game going on, they're going to have to run the ball. And that means they're going to have to matriculate the ball down the field several times, it's really not the style of the NFL these days. I mean, if you got to score on a bunch of 13-play drives, we're kind of seeing that before those 13 plays get up, somebody fumbles, the ball bounces off somebody's helmet, gets intercepted, things happen.
Yeah.
So, in today's football, that's really not the option to win football games, I think. So I'm picking the Chargers.
Man, I like the Chargers. I think that they should pull out of their tailspin this week and get a W. I think Herbert and that offense are too good for the Eagles to keep up with. But I think there'll be a lot of points in this game because that Chargers defense is bad. They're like really bad. Herbert's having to play pretty loose with the ball because of it. They're always pressing. If there's a team that's similar to the Chiefs, we can find it in our own division, it looks like. Even though I do like the coach. I still like the coach. But it'll be a little bit more of a shootout than I'd like. And I think the Chargers come out on top.
That's a good observation. I think the Chargers are having some of the same problems that the Chiefs are having. We're afraid of this. So far, Justin and I have agreed on every pick, and so have you.
Oh, no.
Next game is the big earthquake news. Have you heard it yet?
Yep, Rodgers has COVID.
Yeah. Green Bay at Kansas City, 3:30 on Sunday.
That news did not change my pick. I have to pick Green Bay. We barely scraped past the Giants last week. Patrick Mahomes it didn't really look like he got rid of some of his issues that have been plaguing him this season. Something that he's always had with him is like his mechanics are not really your typical quarterback mechanics. But in years past, it didn't matter because he's just so incredible with his reads and his throws. But
I'm wondering if his toe is still a problem. He had surgery on the toe in the off season. Nobody's said anything, but he has not thrown the ball accurately like he has for 3 years. He was putting those deep throws on a dime, and now they're just a little bit behind, a little bit over. He's not throwing the ball accurately like he has been. So I'm not sure that toe's doing quite so good. Go ahead.
Yeah. So there's obviously something off with Mahomes, and we might not be able to put our finger on it. That's a good guess, but we've clearly by now, at this point in the season, established that something is off with him, and that's not good because we've banked our team. Our front office, they have banked on Mahomes being the amazing Mahomes that we've seen in the last 3 years. And with that not being there, well, our record is 4-4. And in my opinion, we're about to dip back under 500. Jordan Love, this is his first chance. And he's got a great team around him. His defense is going to keep them in the game for sure. And he's got, I think, Devontae Adams should be back this week, right?
I think he is. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I think what I've been hearing is that he will be there.
Yes, and they've got Aaron Jones, and Kansas City's not been stopped the run too well this year. So I find this game, it's going to be interesting. I mean, because Jordan Love, I mean, who knows? He might just flop his first game. And I think that's kind of Kansas City's only chance to win. And I don't want to pick against that. So, because I just think the amount of other things that can happen in a game pretty much all go to Green Bay's favor.
Yeah. When this game came on the schedule, I thought, wow, Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes, what a game. What a way. And that's the game I circled on the calendar. This is the one I really wanted to see this year. Now, Rodgers will not be there. He is in protocol for 10 days. He may not be there for the Seattle game next week. So we're not going to see that. Jordan Love did not get a preseason 2 years ago. He got a little bit of a preseason this year, and he did get, though, all the offseason practices because of Aaron Rodgers' little spat. So Green Bay was thinking they were going to have to go with Jordan Love for all the offseason. So he should be ready. And also, I'm looking at J.J. Dillon. I watched that game last week, and the running game with Jones and Dillon. Dillon was breaking tackles, and it seemed like he was getting 3-4 yards after contact every time. Dillon might not break one for 80 yards, but I don't see us stopping him in the line of scrimmage. And if we hit him 2 yards down the line of scrimmage, he won't go down until he's about 6 or 7 yards down the line of scrimmage. So I think Green Bay's offensive line and running game is going to be too much for our defense. We did trade for Melvin Ingram, who for years was good with the Chargers. And he was a little upset that he was not getting playing time with Pittsburgh, so they let him go. I think he probably still has a little left in the tank. He may help us, but it's probably too soon to expect help. I like the way Willie Gay played last week with the interception and all the tackles he made. Nick Bolton's playing great. But how in the world can we have Daniel Sorensen on the field and Ben Neiman on the field? They're just targets for touchdowns every week. And especially that one play where Tyrann Mathieu was telling him, instead of signaling him that they had the inside with the defense scheme covered, don't let your guy go to the outside when they were down in the red zone. And that's the only thing he had to stop. He had to get on the outside of the receiver. Everybody knew what the route was going to be. Everybody knew if they could keep him, if he could block off the outside, they had him covered on the inside, and he couldn't do it or didn't do it. And that's, again, like I've been saying every week, our secondaries, somebody back there is confused all the time. Our only chance to win this game is if they stop trying to fake our own people out and disguise their defense and play more straight up. That's going to be our only chance to win, and I don't think they're going to do that. Same way with the offense. I think we're stuck on stubborn with the offense as well, because you got NFL defenses are playing too deep. They got their safeties 25 yards back. They're saying there's no way Tariq's going to get behind them. And he's not, because our offensive line can't protect Mahomes long enough for him to get down that far.
Yeah.
When they got a 20-yard head start. So it's all on Mahomes' head. He has to play a patient game and do the checkdowns. That's his least favorite part of football. He hates that. He wants to go downfield. And so the NFL has figured out the same thing they did to Doug Flutie back a long time ago. Doug Flutie had a couple big years, and he used to love to throw the ball downfield and go deep. And they started playing two deep safeties on him, and Flutie never had a good year again. And I'm telling you, same thing's going to happen to Mahomes unless they figure this out. Now, I think with the two deep safeties, they can still find ways to throw the ball downfield. But it's much more difficult. And if his toes bother him and he can't throw the ball accurately, you can't try that. He had 8 or 9 throws downfield last week, and not one of those balls was thrown accurately. It used to be when he was playing right, he'd throw 8 or 9 balls down the field, and they'd all be on the money. Mm-hmm. So we got problems. There's no way we're winning this game with – even if Jordan Love has a bad game, they're going to run the ball down our throats. And I hope I'm wrong. If we bring that same approach to Green Bay, we will get blown out. Andy Reid likes to think somebody was talking about this the other day, and I'm just going to repeat it. Andy Reid likes to think he's the smartest guy in the room. And he would rather win a football game his way than, or he would not want to win a football game when it's not done his way. He'd rather lose a football game and try to win his way. And I think that's what it boils down to. I mean, he's been in the league a long time. He's not going to change. And I don't know if we have the running backs to really make those safeties come up. Derek Gore, I was glad got some time last week, and he looked pretty good, but I don't think he's got any breakaway speed. I was thinking, why not they work out they do this with Nicole Hardeman every week, but also hand the ball to Tariq Hill. He's a tough guy. I mean, he can take it. I don't know why they've not explored that. And the other thing, too, is they play these two deep safeties, and then they play zones, and they man up Travis Kelce, and it's kind of wearing on Kelce. I thought going into the season, they were gearing toward playing multiple tight ends. And they had Jordy forced and developed and ready to go, and then he tore his Achilles tendon. Now, we traded for a tight end from New York Jets, but he's primarily a blocker. They tried to throw to Blake Bell last week. He dropped it. I don't know. And then also the other thing is maybe throw to big receivers that the two deep safeties don't want to tackle. But they've not been able to get Josh Gordon worked in either. So
he's been open on some plays, but Mahomes has not been able to find him.
Yeah, and he didn't on that one interception too in that first drive. He didn't have a chance to catch that ball. I mean, that was a laser about 10 yards away. It went through his hands and then bounced off. The next guy couldn't catch it. Bounced off his helmet, way up in the air, and then right into the defensive hands.
Yeah.
Offensive line, though, did you see that block that Trey Smith threw? That pancaked the guy and he lost his helmet?
I missed it.
Oh, that was the block of the year. I have not seen any blocks better than that one.
Oh, man.
Yeah, Trey Smith is a beast. It is fun to watch him run block. All right, we're both on Green Bay, unfortunately. This one might change that. I don't know. Green Bay at Kansas City. Of course, Aaron Rodgers is out, and so is the third quarterback. He tested positive. They might be signing Blake Bortles tomorrow.
Oh, well, that'll scare somebody in Kansas City, I'm sure. Blake Bortles seems to be the merry-go-round quarterback now. Everybody signs him when they're down a couple people. I
think they're really hoping in Green Bay that Jordan Love does not have COVID too. He hasn't tested positive, but sometimes it takes a few days. You know, you have those Instagram pictures of Aaron Rodgers at the Halloween party.
Right.
When you get COVID, it doesn't show up the first 2 days sometimes on tests. So,
and he was in the room with Love. So.
And they say he's followed the protocols, but he's not vaccinated. And the NFL knows that. We talked about this with Justin, I think. The reporters asked him on August 26th. He said he was immunized and went on this a small rant about some of the players on Green Bay were not vaccinated, but they have a right to do what they want to do. He was one of those players because he petitioned the NFL for exemption on the protocols because he said he was immunized holistically. The NFL said
holistically.
Yeah. So the NFL said no. And so now he's not back until Saturday, November 13th at the very earliest, but he might also miss the Seattle game the next week.
See, here's the thing. Like that's it kills me when this stuff happens because I was like, you know, at least I won't have to worry about one pick this week. But now I kind of have to go back and forth and hem and haw. And I'm sure that's why he has the long hair, is so he can have his immunization crystals kind of weaved into the long hair back there.
Yeah, he said he could bring those here for the Halloween party.
Right. That's yes. So he had a great costume though. Great costume. As good as the Packers are, that's a tough one. I haven't picked against the Chiefs yet. And this is in Green Bay.
This is in Kansas City.
This is in Kansas City. I apologize. They looked so bad last week, Brian. That game killed me. That Monday game. Oh my goodness. Have they said anything about Kelsey being hurt? Because he just looks so off. Like something's wrong.
They're playing this too deep zone, and then they man up on Kelsey, and he runs into somebody else's zone. So it's like he's double teamed every time. And I think they foresaw that coming. That's why they worked so hard to develop Jordy Forston. But now he blew out his Achilles, so they don't.
Achilles.
We traded for a tight end a couple of days ago from the Jets, and we just gave him a 6th-round pick for that. But he's primarily a blocker. He's not primarily a pass catcher. They tried to pass the ball to Blake Bell once or twice last week, but he dropped it. Yeah. So,
what happened to the kid from training camp? The Baby Kelsey was what they were calling him. I forgot his name already.
Noah Gray, but he's not really trying. Yeah, they keep trying, but he's not showing anything.
Yeah. But I think that's the biggest problem for the Chiefs is they can't develop players. They draft these guys, they bring these guys in from free agency, and they can't turn them into anything. And that's hard to, just stay with a couple stars and hope the rest fills out. And man, when it doesn't fill out, it looks ugly. I will take the Packers here because it will give the Chiefs good luck. They'll play better because I didn't pick them for once.
Yeah, I thought this was our one chance to get a different pick. We thought for sure you were going to take Kansas City.
Dang.
We took Green Bay.
Okay.
Arizona.
I agonized over it though.
No, he didn't. And I thought about it for about 5 minutes, and I thought, they're still bringing J.J. Dillon, they're still bringing that defense, their offensive line, which is all better than ours. So next game is Arizona Cardinals at San Francisco 49ers.
San Francisco, they've got a running back over there now named Mitchell. He's been doing pretty well lately. Jimmy Garoppolo did pretty well last week again. Arizona's got a strong pass defense. It's one of the best, though, that we've seen in the league this year. I think Kyler Murray is pretty dynamic and is going to give the San Francisco defense a lot of problems.
If he plays, he's got an injury. It's not for sure he's going to be able to play. They still don't know for sure, but it might be Colt McCoy. Mm-hmm.
Oh, man, this is a tough pick to make with that news this early in the week. I think I still go with Arizona. They've got the stronger defense. And sometimes you need your defense to win you some games here and there.
Yeah, Arizona, they had, of course, J.J. Watt's out for the year, and that hurt them in their run defense last week, big time. And they are also missing their other starting defensive tackle. He was out, and that hurt them. So, but the one defensive tackle will be back this week. I do think Arizona's defense is better than San Francisco's. I'm giving a slight lean to Arizona. I think Arizona will bounce back and win the game.
So it looks like Kyler's going to be out. Pretty sure. And I liked what the Niners kind of did last week. Tough to pick the Cardinals to lose twice, but and every time I pick the Niners, they lose. That kills me. But I think that the Niners might be getting a little bit healthier, and I think they might be figuring things out. And I want to pick one that you guys didn't, hopefully.
Bingo! We're both on Arizona. I hem and haw over it. Arizona got run on pretty bad last week, but they were missing, of course, J.J. Watt's out for the year. They're also missing their other starting tackle, too. But he will be back this week. So,
okay.
Yeah, Mitchell's been running the ball for San Francisco, and
he's been good.
Garoppolo can get you. So,
Deebo Samuel's been playing pretty well.
Spectacular, yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, Arizona has a lot of weapons. I
And,
just think that
yeah.
a lot of it stems from Kyler.
They're going to bounce back.
You think so?
I think so.
They probably will, but I'll take the Niners anyway.
It could be a good pick. Okay, last week we just couldn't agree on anything. This week we can't disagree on anything. Maybe this game will do it. Tennessee Titans and probably won't. Los Angeles Rams.
Derrick Henry's out for the season.
They signed Adrian Peterson.
Yeah, well.
And I think they'll be able to plug him in right away as running back.
You think so?
Yeah, I think he'd be playing. He's a physical specimen. I know he's older, but the man's a physical specimen.
Yeah, and that Titans team, he does fit on that team. They are a very physical team. So Von Miller is now in LA.
Yes.
Cooper Kupp, he is also statistically the number one wide receiver in the league this year so far.
Yeah, Stafford's number 2 quarterback right now.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And Jalen Ramsey is right behind Miller and Donald in that defense. He'll be playing against Brown this week. That's going to be an interesting matchup to watch.
Yeah. I'm betting on Jalen Ramsey. I know A.J. Brown's been having some great weeks. It was really good last week, but I'm betting on Jalen Ramsey.
Yeah, Ramsey is definitely a force to be reckoned with. Tennessee's defense, they have some pretty serious momentum going right now. It really wasn't that spectacular of a feat beating the off Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City offense a couple weeks ago, but in their minds, they think it was pretty great. And last week, their win against the Colts with the huge interceptions, and they got some good pressure on Joey Wentz as well throughout the game. I think the Tennessee defense has great momentum. The Rams, though, they have a very good offensive line. They've got one of the league's best offensive lines. So really, we're kind of looking at this situation where I think Tennessee is outmatched on the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball. And that's just not going to be good for them to win this game. And they don't have Derrick Henry anymore. So I'm picking the Rams.
And we're not going to disagree on this either. I think the Rams are the class of the NFC right now. I know there's some other good teams, the Packers, we're going to see that 3:30 Sunday, but I think the Rams are the class of the league. They've been on top before. They've been to the Super Bowl before, this group. And I think they're on a mission to get there again. And the players know it. I mean, there's no question in their minds when they make a commitment about bringing Von Miller in. Miller's older, but he's still an athlete. He can still do some things. So that can only encourage Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald, I've been watching the last couple. He's not as big as I thought he was. He's actually kind of a smaller defensive tackle, but his energy and his strength and skills are just off the charts. So I'm picking the Rams in this game. I think they'll beat the Tennessee Titans.
Yeah, that team. They really don't care about draft picks. Do they have a pick in the top 3 rounds for the next 7 years?
They want to play the Super Bowl in their home stadium, second year in a row for that. But yeah, they're desperately going for it.
Oh yeah. No, they have a good shot. It'll be interesting to see what the Titans look like on offense. So I'm definitely going to take the Rams in this because I have too many questions about what Tennessee does without their best and most important player, Derrick Henry.
Yeah, they signed Adrian Peterson.
Yeah, I saw that too. He's
I
like
don't-
37 and
Yeah.
he has no burst anymore. That was the thing that made him AD all day, was because he could hit the line as hard as anybody. He was as strong as any running back in the league at the time. And he could run by every safety in the league. He was incredible, but he's 37 and it's, I'm happy to see him get a team. But I just don't think that's a difference maker.
Yeah, it might turn into be about like it's going from 150 yards to 50 yards rushing. And A.J. Brown and the passing game has been going well, but now it might be all they have. So,
but a lot of their stuff is out of play action.
Play action, yeah.
And does play action work without Derrick Henry?
Yeah.
You look at it, and A.J. Brown is really good when they run play action and they hit him. And he's really good at making yards after the catch. But they've also got 8 guys in the box. What happens when they drop those safeties? I don't know. We're going to have to see.
What you said about Adrian Peterson doesn't have his burst and doesn't get to the line as fast as he used to do kind of resonates with what I think of the Chiefs running backs and the Chiefs running game. After watching that last week, their average are okay. I was glad to see Derek Gore get some time.
He looked good.
They kind of run like Le'Veon Bell, and they don't hit the line of scrimmage as hard as they can. And so they get thrown for a loss 2 or 3 yards sometimes.
Williams killed him in the red zone. He absolutely murdered them. Every run that he had went for, it seemed like -1 or 2 yards. He would just hit the middle of the line and be stopped immediately.
They're looking.
They got no push. They didn't get through the offensive line at all.
Yeah.
Really.
But the backs are also looking before they get to the line. They should get to the hole first as fast as they can and then worry about where to run. And they're not doing that. So that's why I'm not offering a lot of hope with us really running the ball. No. I don't think we need to. So Justin and I got a little conversation after we shut the camera off. We talked about why don't they run these plays with McCall Hardeman, and they always work for 10 or 15 yards. Why don't they line up Tyreek Hill in the backfield time once in a while and see what NFL defenses do about that? Because I'll guarantee you, he'll hit the hole fast. And he's a tough little kid. I mean, he's not going to fold up if they hit him. And if he gets into the secondary and some secondary guy is got him one-on-one, I don't like his chances.
No. I would be afraid of giving him more than maybe 5 of those plays.
Yeah, I'm not saying regularly, but I think they should maybe do what they're doing with Nicole, line him up in the backfield and give him a chance to run the ball.
I'm sure the reason why, and I'll just play devil's advocate, because I think it would be exciting. I think it would add an element to the offense. It would bring guys up and maybe let us hit something big deep if they're worried about, because that's who they're worried about. That's why they're playing this.
They need to get one of those safeties up.
Right, exactly. That's what. That's exactly what I'm trying to say. And the reason that I think that they won't do it is either they haven't thought of it, which I doubt because they're smart guys. Mm-hmm. But I think that they're deathly afraid that if Tyreek Hill gets hurt, the team is just almost weaponless because they'll just triple cover Kelsey. And I don't believe that we have the ability to get the ball to anybody else. And we're done. What do you think of that?
No, that's a good reason. Now, the Monday night game is it Chicago at Pittsburgh? Are they at Pittsburgh?
Yeah, they're playing at Heinz Field.
Yeah,
Is it still Heinz Field?
Yeah, I don't know what these fields are called anymore. I've seen it. But yeah, I would guess it's Heinz Field because Heinz is huge in Pittsburgh. Chicago at Pittsburgh.
All right. TJ Watt is licking his chops. I know you like to use that term sometimes.
Yeah, especially when the Bears offensive line is in the picture.
Yeah.
They lead the league in sacks allowed. It's not close.
Yeah. So I think Watt and company, the Pittsburgh defense is going to completely dominate this game. It's going to be pretty ugly for that Chicago offense this week. On the other side of the ball, I think Harris is going to have a nice game. I think he's going to put up 100 yards rushing. And Ben, all he has to do in this game is just not turn the ball over, don't make any major mistakes, and Pittsburgh's going to win. I think he can do that, and so I'm going to pick the Steelers.
Also, I'm picking the Steelers, so that makes it total. I can't make up any ground on you at all this week. I'm not going out on any more limbs. That's over. Chicago's on a 3-game losing streak. It's going to be 4. Roethlisberger does not have to throw the ball down the field. He's got good receivers, and he's got a running back in Najee Harris, so he's got all he needs to beat the Chicago Bears. I just hope Justin Fields doesn't get hurt somewhere along the line. Hope he's allowed to continue to develop, because he is showing that he is a talent. And let's hope he gets out of Pittsburgh in one piece.
Yeah. They should maybe consider just probably like by halftime, just take him out.
Yeah, I don't know what they're going to do over there. Nagy will be back, so it really raises questions of what they're going to do over there. Don't know. Well, we're going to talk to Dan tonight, and then we'll splice him in between the picks. Thanks for joining us. Justin, you have a good weekend.
Yeah, you as well.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Chicago at Pittsburgh. I think that Justin Fields looked awesome without Matt Nagy.
Yeah, he did.
Meddling with the offense.
Nagy's back.
But Nagy's back. So I don't have the Bears. I'm picking against the Bears with Nagy calling plays. He's bad. He was good at a couple stops, and I don't know how, but the game got by him really fast. He doesn't let Fields do the things that Fields is good at, and he might be ruining a pretty talented young quarterback. He made one of the better deep ball throws I've seen all year last week, and he had that. You saw the run where he ran it all the way to the right, came all the way back around the line. That was incredible. That's something that you don't see out of high school very often. It's usually, kids in the backyard playing pickup doing that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think they're overmatched. And I think that the Steelers should put up points on them. They've looked really fairly solid. They're not going to get blown out, I don't think. What did you and Justin go with on this one?
Steelers.
Yeah, that's not.
Yeah, we're just hoping Justin Fields gets out of this game in one piece.
Right, that's the fear.
Chicago leads the NFL in sacks allowed, and Pittsburgh can sack the quarterback.
Mm-hmm. T.J. Watt, good as anybody.
He alone might destroy Fields.
Yeah, and that's the thing, and that's why they had Andy Dalton. And you kind of wish that Dalton had stayed healthy, so we didn't have to see Fields go through some of this. Mm-hmm. Just to be honest with you, I would have made sure that he didn't play in games like this where he was just going to get teed off on, because this can kill a young quarterback's career. Stuff like this, when you just can't block, when he could stand up and not, have his knee taken out from under him repeatedly. So I don't know. Do you think Fields makes it through the whole game?
50-50.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hate to say that, but they got a couple guys. I haven't looked it up specifically. I think one of them is 38 years old. The tackle is 38, and I think they got a couple of old guys on that line that are just way past their prime, and they have not been paying much attention to rebuilding their offensive line.
Mm-hmm. Don't they? Is that where Peters went? The old Eagles tackle.
Yep.
That's him. That's the guy. Yeah, he's been in the league for 40 years, I think. But he couldn't move when he left Philly. I can't believe that he caught on with another team. You watched him block, and you were terrified for whoever was behind center for the Eagles for years, because he couldn't backpedal at the end, and he can't anymore for sure. Yeah. I wish the best for Fields and all the rookie quarterbacks. But some of them are in really bad spots.
It's rookie Encore week, but it might not be Simeon on the field. Cooper Rush probably is not playing. Mike White would be interesting to see what he can do for an Encore. We'll see.
Yeah. Well, the one thing I did look this up, and I didn't get to watch that game because we had other games, of course. I just saw highlights, and they looked really good. But one thing I noticed, he didn't throw the ball down the field. Like, there was a lot of bad
half the passes
Cincinnati.
Half the passes were to backs.
Yeah, I don't think he threw the ball. I think he averaged the least amount of yards down the field of any quarterback this week. And I just don't think that you can reproduce that and expect the same results.
Yeah. And I think Cincinnati didn't prepare for the Jets. I think they were looking forward to this Cleveland game.
They want to take it to the Browns. Yeah. And the Browns look like they're pretty beat up right now.
Cincinnati leads the league in 3-and-outs forced. So we're going to see some 3-and-outs with Cleveland, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it's been another good week, Dan. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Well, enjoy this. I like talking football with you.
It's a good time. Always. We'll talk again next week. Thanks so much. This has been a blast.
We're going to have a good week this time. It's not going to be Halloween.
Oh, man. We got battered. Hopefully we stay over 500 by a wide margin this week.
Yeah, I think we will.
All right. Excellent. Talk to you soon.
Okay. Bye-bye.